This story is about me and my grandmother Joy. I was living in New Orleans in the old French Quarter area. Joy had lost her husband, my grandfather, a few months back and was suffering from cancer. It developed pretty quickly and we ended up having to put her on hospice. There was a really good hospice company where they would come to the house 4 or 5 times a day. I was taking care of her the rest of the time when not working as a cop in the city. I've been a cop for about 7 years and I've seen a lot of shit and crazy situations. They did not prepare me for what I was about to bear witness to. Little backstory on my grandmother. She was not a very religious woman. She had a pretty rough life and swore off religion altogether. Living in New Orleans, the voodoo capital of the U.S., she had a lot of weird stories she swore by. I am a very logical person and thought it was mostly bullshit. Joy would tell stories of body possession, seeing people in old-time clothes staring at her through the windows, and strange untimely deaths. A few months on hospice and Joy started to get worse. I would hear her having conversations in her room constantly when she was the only person home. I would ask her who she was talking to and she would tell me Jack, her dead husband, or Paulie, her dead brother. This went on to the point where it became normal for me to hear her talking for hours and hours at night. I felt bad. I thought she was having some sort of mental break due to the meds and the cancer. It all came to a boiling point one night. I had just gotten off shift and pulled into the driveway of my house. My grandmother was staying in a room on the first floor. I came home and I could hear my grandmother in her room talking to someone. I could hear a man talking back. I thought it was the hospice worker finishing up his visit. I went into the kitchen to start making some food when I could hear both of them laughing very loudly from my grandmother's room. I busted in to see what was so funny and found only my grandmother. I asked who she was in here with, and she told me her husband Jack. I got a cold chill and every damn hair on my body stood on end. I could hear him as clear as I heard my grandmother. I ran outside to see if there was another car parked in the driveway, but no one was here but us. I went back into my grandmother's room. She had the oddest smile on her face. I asked her what was going on. She told me Jack was going to take her with him tonight. I asked what she meant by that. She said, "Pay attention, honey, I'm going to die." She told me she was ready to go and Jack was tired of being alone. I called hospice and asked if they could send someone over. They did at about 2 a.m. and that's right around when Joy passed. I'm glad I got to say goodbye and I was shook into my core about how she knew she was going to pass today and who I heard her talking to in the room. I lived in that house for about a year before moving up to Washington. During the rest of my time there, I could hear people talking in my grandmother's old room. I would run in there to see if it was her, but no one was ever there. It became too much to take and definitely factored into my wanting to move. I do wonder, though, if the new owners hear it too.